I think we're good to go. So, how did you end up in this job?
How did I end up in this job? Back in 2007, I was hired as the staff accountant for Oasis. And when our last director retired, I was asked to move into this position.
Did you like major in accounting or something?
My major is in accounting.
That's cool. Okay. And just like in terms of this business, how well do you think, I guess not more in the broader sense, how well do you think the issue of domestic abuse is being addressed?
I think with the funding that's available, we're doing the best we can. I think that people are becoming more aware of it. Oasis is a well-hidden secret in this area. In fact, I didn't know where we were at until I started working here.
Actually, this is not even on my list, but how do women know if there's a shelter around?
Well, the shelter's advertised. You can find us on the webpage.
Okay.
You can Google us. All the social services people know where we're at. The hospital knows where we're at, and the police officers know where we're at, so people can find us.
Yeah, I was just because my mom
it's a good question.
I have no idea where it is.
How did you find us?
My mom volunteered here or something, and I didn't even know she was volunteering here because she did it during school. But my dad said something. I was looking for an interview topic person to interview and kind of thing, and he was like, "Well, your mom does that thing," and I was like, "What does she do?" I was like, "Can you ask her for me? Because this is kind of exactly what my topic is." Because I don't know. The thing that really bugged me, my topic originally was child abuse, and just because I can't even comprehend how someone could do that to another person. Then I started thinking, cause is child abuse domestic abuse too? It's in the house.
Well, it's in the house.
Okay.
You're right.
So,
and we deal obviously if a woman's being abused, a mom's being abused, the kids are suffering too.
Right. Yeah, that's true. You kind of answered this question already, where I asked, would you say your organization handles this issue to the best of your ability? You said yes. What would you improve if you had if funding is an issue, or if anything, what would be the first thing?
It would be funding. It would be funding, because funding has become stagnant.
Yeah.
There's no more federal money. There's no more state money. And it limits us in hiring staff. A lot of funders will not support just the operations of the program.
What specifically within the program do you feel like needs more funds? What is the...
Obviously, we could always use another counselor. 60 people. We have... we can house as many as 60 people. We're a large shelter compared to most across the state. And with housing being such an issue in our community, we need people who can help with housing, help find housing, help with financial literacy.
Okay.
We have we have an AmeriCorps person working for us now, but it would be great to have a full-time staff person in that type of position who's dealing with financial literacy.
How long can someone stay here?
They can stay for as long as 2 years.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, what our goal is, of course, you get them through the emergency piece of the program,
right?
And then they go into what we call the supportive phase, and that's where they really get the meat of the program, where they've dealt with the emergency issues, they've dealt with, any specific health things that are going on, whether they've been beaten, whether they need clothing. We've dealt with all those safety issues, so now it's more into the meat of the education and continually looking at their safety plan. We start looking at domestic violence education. We also are a substance abuse facility.
Okay.
And women, we're one of the only ones in the state of Kentucky where women can bring their children to treatment with them, which promotes treatment, because a lot of times women won't come to treatment if they can't.
Yeah,
they can't
I
bring
bet.
their kids.
And they're not going to leave their kid in a situation they don't feel safe in themselves.
Right.
That makes sense.
Substance abuse and domestic violence are closely linked, because women have learned to rely on substances to deal with it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
So we do the substance abuse, we do domestic violence, we do financial literacy, because most women, believe it or not, have never even been allowed to manage a checking account.
Right.
We do parenting, and we do life skills. We help them learn how to do a resume, how to apply for a job, if they need their GED. You know, there's more than just beating.
Oh, yeah.
Domestic violence is more than just beating.
Right.
So we deal with a lot of issues.
You guys are doing a wonderful thing here. I'm amazed. All right, let's just move on to the next question. And these are all kind of redundant. You kind of answered most of the ones. How are you addressing it? Okay, so how do you actually deal with keeping the women or children, I guess, away from the family? Like, are social services the people who make sure they don't go back to the same place? Or
No, we can't do that. It's not something that we can say you can't do this anymore. Women will leave their abuser 7 to 10 times. Statistics have proven they will leave 7 to 10 times before they totally break it off and get away from it. Because
so, like, they'll come to a place like this 7 times before they
have the strength
my goodness.
and have self-esteem. You know, we work a lot with building their self-esteem so that they know that they can. But when people think that, well, it's about love, or it's about the kids need their dad, or I don't have an income, he brings in the money. They have several reasons they go back.
That's true.
And we can't stop that.
I guess that makes sense, especially if they're adults. I assume you're obviously not anything like a foster care system, but if they were children, you can remove them. But if they're adults, there's really nothing you can do.
If it's a child endangerment issue, we will automatically call.
Oh, so if a woman comes here with her, say she has 2 kids, then you can work on removal for the children? I guess, yeah, but you would.
No, we don't work on removal of children. If a mother comes here with her children, we try to, unless there's a real apparent, unless she's the abuser and we see that, obviously, we would have to call social services. But you don't take a child away from the mother just because she's had to leave that abusive situation.
That makes sense.
She still stays. We keep them together.
Even if them being together means they go back and the children continue to be abused?
Yeah, we don't have a.
That's a tough situation.
We have no authority.
Yeah,
let me say
that's
it that
tough.
way. Yeah, we don't have authority. We're just here we provide, our mission statement is to provide shelter, support, and advocacy for families affected by domestic violence, and that is a big, broad picture.
Yeah, that's, wow. Mm-hmm. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you actually do in this facility? I mean, you said self-esteem, you give them a place to live. How does this actually, other than giving them a place to be, like you said, there's like educational stuff or something you guys go through?
If they need a GED, if they haven't been able to graduate high school and they need their GED, they can work on their GED. We do, like I said, the financial literacy, that is a huge piece of our program.
Yeah.
Because people can't survive if they don't know how to go to the grocery store. That's a life skill. If they don't know how to balance a checkbook, things that many of us take for granted, these ladies have not had the opportunity to learn that. So we give them that opportunity to learn that. If they have parenting issues, because once you've had somebody here for a few weeks, you can kind of get a feeling for what they need help with. If they have parenting skills that need honed in, or if they have just some life skill issues, like I said, they can work on their GEDs. We teach them how to do job applications. If they need to do a resume, we work with them on their resumes. And we are able to get them in contact with other resources in our community that can provide some of those needs.
Are there other shelters in Owensboro besides this one?
There's no other domestic violence shelter. There is Boulware Mission, Daniel Patino Shelter.
Oh yeah, I've been there. What was the first one you said?
Boulware Mission.
What's that?
It's down on Wing Avenue. They mostly shelter men.
Oh.
I don't believe they do children at all, and they do very few women. St. Benedict's is a man's shelter, and it's just an emergency shelter. And then, so we have those, and they're trying to get another shelter going in the city of Owensboro. Crossroads, and it is strictly for women and children who don't qualify for our services per se, because to qualify for OASIS services, you have to be in a domestic violence situation. All of our funding is based on domestic violence, so we can't just let anybody off the street come in.
Oh, I see. So like if the Crossroads one would be like a homeless person could go in there or something. Okay, that makes sense.
If they're homeless for another reason other than domestic violence or substance abuse.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, this has been super short. Would you be opposed to, like, if I, took what you said and came up with some other questions?
Email me.
At any other time? Yeah, because I think this is really good. It's shown me that a lot of the questions I have were very redundant, and you kind of addressed most of it pretty quickly.
I can talk about OASIS all day long. I love OASIS.
Man, this is just, honestly, just being here is very eye-opening. I mean, like, walking in, I had to stand in that, they have to open the door before I can come in. They have to open this door before I can come in.
We are a very secure facility, so when people say, can people come visit? No, not necessarily.
No.
And, if a man comes to our door, he doesn't come in.
Really?
Unless we know who he is and what he's here for.
Yeah, that's... Oh man, it's very, very real. It's one thing to read articles about it and write a research paper. I was very affected when I came in here. The chick just kind of looked at me and I was like, I just need an interview. Like I'm not. It's just terrifying. Okay. All right.
And that's when I think I put myself in their shoes.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's hard, and they come in here all hours of the day and night. They come in here with nothing on but the clothes on their back. So it's real, and it's sad, and one thing we try to work really hard at is educating the community. And there may have been somebody at your school to talk about domestic violence, or in particularly teen dating violence. That's become a real major topic. So because we need to hit it, we can cut it off at the legs there. Maybe we can keep it. Maybe we can work me out of a job, which would be great.
Yeah, there was an article I read. I think it's in Michigan where. The football coach took this whole thing and taught his boys, it's not just a football team, but it's like a lifestyle. And he would go like once a week or something. They would have lessons because it's like in the outskirts of Detroit. It's some of the worst neighborhoods on the country. And it was like Boys for Change or something. And they would teach the boys that. And since they're athletic and they're the leaders of the school, people see them saying, "All right, that's not cool." Like it's a lot easier to follow someone who's. Yeah, and it's a big deal. And the cops there's like a whole big progression of steps where if there's so much as a call with a threat of violence or like an idea, the person's automatically put on a checklist and they're like then watched and kept up with. And it's just, I understand that takes funding and that takes time and that takes a lot of stuff, but I feel like if people saw stuff like this, it's like, I can't explain coming in here.
I know that Davis County High School and Apollo used to be part of the Green Dot program, where it was a study being done, and they were coming in and talking about dating violence, teen violence, and domestic violence, and that type of stuff. One school was the test school, and one was the placebo thing going on. And they did that in several schools across the state of Kentucky. That's been maybe 2 years ago that ended.
Really?
Maybe a year ago, somewhere along in there.
Yeah, I just moved here 2 years ago. I haven't heard about it, so maybe
it's probably been over with about that long. But that's what we try to really work hard at community awareness and community education. It's a big piece of our program.
Can I ask how, I thought about going into child psychology stuff and therapy for abused kids for a long time, and my dad kept telling me, he's just like, I don't think you can be around such a sad environment. Like, it would just bring you down all the time. Do you ever feel discouraged? How do you?
We have to take care of ourselves. We have to do some self-care practices, and you have to have some days off every once in a while, and you have to be able to just what things make you relax and kind of separate your day from it because you do carry it home with you.
I just feel like you can't be in an environment like this in a job setting all the time and not be affected by it.
Right, and so we have to do some really major planning on our self-care, and you have to do that wherever you're at, especially if you're in the school system working, if you're in the foster care system working. I used to be a foster mother.
Oh, really?